Welcome to my video tutorial today. I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own internet browser using Visual Basic, commonly known as VB, which is a programming language developed by Microsoft which allows us to code Windows applications quite easily. Now, the first step that you need to take is to download the IDE, Integrated Development Environment, which allows us to code Visual Basics. So you want to head to this link, which I will leave in the description, and you want to download Visual Basic 2010 Express. You want to select your language, and it will allow you to download the installer file, which is quite easy. Just run it and install the program. Once you have that Visual Basic IDE installed, you want to launch it up. What I highly recommend that you do is click on Help, Register Product, and obtain a registration key online. The registration key is free. You just have to mail Microsoft and they'll send you a key. Okay, click on New Project and make sure it says to Windows Forms Application and type your name for your program to the bottom. I'm going to call this Web Browser. Click on the OK button and it will make your form. The first step that I would like to take is to make the form a decent size for a web browser. So I'm just going to drag it out until I think it's a decent size. And that size looks pretty good. Next step is to change the name on the top. So I want to change this to something like my web browser. So I'm going to click on the form, and then you want to head to your right hand side where it says properties and scroll down till you see text. Right here, as you can see, and then the value set for text is form 1. So you want to change that. So I'm going to put my web browser. And click away, and as you can see, the name changes on the upper left hand corner as well. Okay, now we're going to add some basic features to our web browser. So what you want to do is you want to go into your toolbox. If you don't see your toolbox over here, you want to click on View and Toolbox. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to add, go into your toolbox under Common Controls and hit Text Box and drag it out. This is where I'm going to be putting my URL, like google.com, and make it a little bigger. And now we're going to add some buttons on this for the basic functions of our web browser. So I'm going to add my first button, and this button will serve as the back button. I'm going to add another one for the forward button. Refresh, stop, and go. And you can move these around to a position that you like. Just line this up. And okay. Now that you have all this done, you want to go back into Common Controls and add Web Browser. And you want to resize this to your form to a decent size. I'm going to drag it out to the edges of the form and make sure it looks pretty neat. And let's align these buttons one last time. Okay. Now those are just the basic components of our web browser. Now what I want to do is I want to rename these buttons so we know exactly what it does. So exactly how we renamed our web browser, my web browser, you want to click on it, go back into properties, and change the text value. So I'm going to change this to back. The next button, I'm going to change to forward. This is going to be stop. Refresh. And go is going to be my 5th button. Okay, now that you have that done, it's time to jump into the coding of our web browser. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to code is my Go button. So I want to double click on that. It's going to open up the code editor. And as you can see, Visual Basic starts typing code for us already. So the first thing that I'm going to type in is to code my Go button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type web browser 1. And as you can see, Visual Basic helps us with typing code. So web browser 1 dot navigate, and then you want to put brackets. In programming, we call brackets parentheses, just so you know. So you can say brackets or parentheses, doesn't really matter. And what you want to do is you want to set that to text box 1 dot text. And as you can see, Visual Basics helps us type out the code. Okay, so we're done coding our go button. Let's code our refresh button now. Double click on the refresh, types out some code for us. And you want to type that to be web browser 1 dot refresh. And you want to add in your parentheses. Okay, let's code our stop button now. Double click on the stop button, and you want to type web browser 1. Instead of typing it out a lot of times, you can just scroll down on this list and click on it, or hit enter. That's what I do, so I don't have to type it out much. Web browser 1 dot stop. Okay. Next, we want to code our forward button, so let's click on that. Type web browser 1 dot go forward parentheses. Okay. The last button that we need to code is the back button. I'm gonna click on that, and web browser 1 dot go back brackets or parentheses. And that's basically the code, or the code type of basic web browser. So let's learn how we run this now. Click back here. So this is our basic design, and we finished coding. Now you want to click on this little green triangle that says start debugging, or we can press F5 on our keyboard. Click on that, and it launches up our program. And this is our basic web browser. Let's see if it works. Let's go to google.com. So http://google.com, and click on the go button. And as you can see, our web browser works. It sends us to google.com. So if you click on refresh, that also works. Let me just head to Facebook. Click on go, it sends us to Facebook. If I click on back, it should go back to Google. Go forward, we go to facebook.com. So that's a very simple web browser and how to make it in Visual Basics. Of course, you can add on features to our web browser like a search bar for Google, or we can add on a toolbar to the top. It's very simple, so you can go into Visual Basics and play with that and practice your coding. Now I'm going to show you how to make an actual release of the program. If you want to pass it on to a friend or something, the first thing that you need to do is click on save. Let me just close my program first. Click on save all, and you want to save it. That's going to save your files. Next, you want to click on build and build web browser, and build succeeded. And if you want to release to a friend, what you need to do is head to documents, Visual Basics 2010, Visual Studio 2010 projects, and you're going to see all the projects that you've been working on. Select your project, go into the folder, go into the bin folder, click on release, and you should get that file. I'm just dragging it on my desktop, and if I double click on it, it launches my web browser. And go, and it works just fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It's very simple, and I will be making tutorials in the future like how to make a LAN chat program, etc. So if you guys enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.